suppose it felt like quite a natural thing to do because I studied history at university and I did a lot of work on Chinese history. And because I wasn't entirely sure what I wanted to do after graduating, it seemed a sort of natural thing to come out to China and have a look around, sort of build on what I studied and explore China as it is today. Actually, it's my second time, so I went once with my family just before I started my degree, actually. So it's a nice symmetry. I came to China and then studied history, and then I came back again, sort of rounded it all off. Last time we did quite an extensive tour, so we did Beijing, Xi'an, Chengdu, Guilin, Hangzhou, Suzhou, Shanghai, and then Hong Kong. So I really love Shanghai, actually. I really enjoyed living here. I think very vibrant. Because when I first came here, I thought it was a bit too modern and sort of a lot of concrete. But actually, when you get underneath that, it's very vibrant. There's a lot of stuff going on. And also, when you know where to look, there's some very interesting sort of older buildings and older parts, which are hidden away, I think. But, definitely one would be eating fried dumplings. I absolutely love the fried dumplings here. They're amazing. And then, other than that, I like to wander around sort of the Confucian temples and the Taoist temples and the Buddhist temples. I really love that architecture and that sort of layout. So yesterday I went on a trip. I think I did 4 different temples and a church in the old city area. So it was, I really enjoy that. It's a great way to spend the day. After work, I often meet up with the other interns and we'll go and get something to eat, and then on the weekends we go out to clubs and things, which is a very interesting, quite a different experience to nightlife back in Europe. It's I think the only way I could describe it is like the film The Great Gatsby, but with Chinese people. I think. I think the most important things for an intern are, first of all, you need to be in a friendly office because it's quite easy, particularly as a newcomer who's not going to be there for very long, for people to sort of just ignore you and leave you on the side. And I think I was very lucky in that my office, everyone's been very friendly and it's really felt like being part of the team, which is very nice. I think second, the company has to be very clear what they want the intern for. They need to have a clear structure. So they either need to specifically have a training regime set up for you, or to basically throw you in as a temporary employee. And I think without that, again, it's very easy for you to feel like you're wasting your time in the company. I think that those are probably the 2 main points. And then thirdly, it's just got to be in something that you find interesting and engaging. Particularly with a 3-month internship, if you're not interested or you're not excited by what you're doing, I think it can become a bit of a drag. But it's like I said, everyone is very friendly there. It's quite an interesting work environment because we work to deadlines set by companies in Europe and America, so we often work to sort of a 3 o'clock deadline, and then after that we have a little more time to sort of prepare for the next day and relax. And particularly in my role as a proofreader, there's often points during the day when I'm very busy and then points during the day when it's a little quieter, and you can take some time to look at some of the other things you're supposed to be working at. So it's quite an interesting challenge to balance sort of this ongoing flow of work on the one hand and sort of longer term projects that they've given you on the other. So as my company, it's a German company originally, so I think there's a lot of sort of international office culture in there. I think there's probably a greater degree of informality, certainly in my office environment, than I would have expected in a Western company. Everyone's very friendly, and though we have a sort of project manager, he's very much part of the team rather than separate from it. I think that's probably, like I say, it's difficult to judge because this is quite a different sort of setup to the sort of stuff I've done back home. So it's very strange sort of working to 3 o'clock deadlines and having sort of work come in sort of spurts and having to balance your time in that way. And again, I think just the nature of the business sort of media analysis requires a slightly more flexible work environment than you would expect. So it's difficult to say whether there's anything that I could concretely say about sort of Chinese business culture versus Western business culture. But I think that perhaps is, for me, the biggest sort of thing that I've learned is that it's very difficult to just separate them. Particularly in Shanghai, I think there's a very strong sense of an international outlook, which I don't know whether you'd find in other Chinese cities. I received an email from my university about a number of different career options, one of which was about getting to China, and the moment I saw it I thought that's something I'd be interested in doing. And so as I came towards the end of my degree, I thought, well, I'll put my name down for that and get an application in, and hopefully I'll spend some time in China. Very good, I think. Visa advice, although I didn't need a great deal of it, was always quick, always there quickly, and they were always ready to give me the advice on how to best go about securing a visa. I mean, I didn't really need a great deal of support because it was a fairly straightforward process, but there was never a point where I felt I was on my own or I was trying to sort of drag responses out of someone on the other end. First, I would say do it. If it's something you're thinking about, it's a really good idea. Particularly if you're not sure about what you want to do. It's a great way to sort of get away from everything that you have in your normal life and sort of put things in perspective, and also get a taste of something very different. And it looks good on your CV, obviously. Beyond that, I would say have a clear idea before you apply of what you're actually, sort of things you would actually want to do. Don't just apply blind. You should know whether you're interested in media or finance. And then finally, I would say definitely sign up for the Chinese lessons. I think it's you may not get very far, but it really adds to the experience, I think. Oh, and particularly in Shanghai, you should be aware that you can engage with Chinese culture about as much as you want to here. So if you're worried about sort of being thrown in the deep end, particularly if you're going to the Shanghai office, don't, because like I said, you can engage as much as you want to, and you can start off by dipping your toe in the water and then try a little more and a little more. Be ready to sort of get involved. Yeah.